The message came in at 6:14 p.m. Girls' dinner tonight. Don't call me. I stared at the screen long enough for the edges of the text bubble to blur. Not because I didn't understand the words, but because they were too clean, too rehearsed. The kind of line you send when you're already somewhere you shouldn't be, praying the person you're lying to doesn't question it. But I had already questioned everything. Because 2 hours earlier, her best friend Mia sat across from me at a coffee shop, stirring an empty cup she hadn't touched, eyes darting like something hunted. "She's not with me tonight," she'd said. No hesitation, no attempt to soften it, just the truth. Cold, sharp, dropped between us like a blade. And now, as I sat in the dim quiet of our living room, the house breathing slowly around me, I could feel something inside me shift. Not break. Shatterings are loud, messy. This was quieter, a controlled fracture, a fault line setting into place. I didn't call her, didn't respond. I simply waited, not for her, for the moment she'd walk through that door and find Mia sitting next to me, arms crossed, face pale, refusing to lie for her anymore. And when the lock clicked at 9:37 p.m., I felt something close to calm settle over me. The kind that comes right before a storm, right before truth claws its way into the open. She stepped in softly, like she expected me to be asleep. Like guilt made her footsteps cautious. Her eyes caught Mia first, then me. I watched the color drain from her face. A slow fade, a quiet collapse. "What are you two?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The silence did the work for me. Inside my head, thoughts moved with mechanical precision. No panic, no begging the facts to rearrange themselves. Just observation, calculation. I'd seen the signs long before tonight. The way she guarded her phone like it was a wounded animal only she could protect. The sudden weekend errands. The faint perfume that wasn't hers lingering in the passenger seat of her car. Not enough to accuse her, just enough to form a pattern. And I'd let it build, let it breathe, let it grow into something undeniable. "Tell him," Mia whispered, her voice tight. "He deserves that much." But my wife didn't speak. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again, like she was relearning how to use it. Like truth required muscles she hadn't exercised in years. I could almost see the versions of her story flicker behind her eyes. Lies she wanted to reach for, excuses she'd rehearsed. But she was trapped now, exposed, cornered by the one person she thought would always cover for her. Yet even now, even standing there with guilt dripping off her like sweat, she didn't confess. She hesitated, calculated, searched for angles. And in that pause, in that tiny, desperate breath, I knew. Whatever she'd been hiding wasn't small. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It was deliberate, ongoing. A second life she'd been feeding while letting ours starve. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was architectural, built carefully, brick by lying brick. And tonight, it finally cracked. I hadn't confronted her before tonight because confrontation isn't how you learn the truth. Observation is. So over the past month, I'd taken my time, quietly, methodically, like studying an enemy who thinks you're still on their side. I pulled our phone records, not to see names, just patterns. The frequency, the late-night numbers she deleted from her log moments after each call. I checked the car mileage, small variations that didn't match her stories. I opened a private folder on my laptop, documenting everything. Screenshots, timestamps, notes written in simple, emotionless lines. I didn't want rage clouding the facts. I wanted clarity. And clarity came in pieces. The strange charges on her credit card, hotel bars, ride shares to parts of the city she never mentioned. The lipstick stains on coffee cups she threw away at the office instead of bringing home to wash. The way she flinched, not visibly but internally, whenever I asked how her day was. She thought she was clever, but people hiding something always reveal themselves in the negative space, in the things they don't say, In the silences, they try too hard to keep natural. Even Mia had started to notice, which is why she agreed to meet me today, why she told me the truth. She's seeing someone, she'd said, voice shaking, and it's been months. I didn't want to get involved, but I can't keep lying to you. I didn't react, not then, not outwardly. Inside, though, something settled, a final piece sliding into place. But I still needed confirmation, so while she was out with the girls, I ran the last check, a location trace through our shared car app, a feature she never realized existed. The address it led me to was a condo, not a restaurant, not a dinner, a place someone lived, someone she hadn't told me about. By the time she walked through the door tonight, I didn't need her confession. I already had the truth. I just needed her to face it. I reached into the folder beside me and slid a single sheet across the table. Not the whole file, just one page, one address, one timestamp, one undeniable fact. Her eyes hit the words, and everything inside her broke, quietly, beautifully, like glass folding under pressure. She looked up at me, breathing fast. "How long have you?" "Long enough," I said. 2 words. Calm, controlled, final. Mia stayed silent beside me, arms still crossed, refusing to look away. She had chosen truth over loyalty. Or maybe she finally realized which loyalty mattered more. My wife's hands shook as she set the paper down. She looked smaller than I had ever seen her, deflated, exposed. She whispered something. I couldn't tell if it was an apology or a plea. The sounds blurred into meaningless air before reaching me. Because the moment I saw her reaction, the exact second she realized I knew everything, I felt something uncoil inside me. A weight lifting, a clarity sharpening. This wasn't about catching her, it was about reclaiming myself. She tried to reach for my arm. I leaned back. She flinched like the distance burned. I didn't raise my voice, didn't accuse or insult. Power doesn't require volume. I simply slid the entire folder onto the table with one deliberate motion. Pages spilling out, dates, screenshots, records, a full map of her deception. "I know," I said softly. "All of it." Her knees buckled. She sat down like gravity had doubled. Mia watched her, jaw tight. I could feel her anger now too, not at me, but at my wife, at the months of lies she'd been dragged into. "You thought I'd never see it," I continued. "You thought you could live 2 lives." She stared at the evidence as though it were a casket she just realized she was inside of. Then I delivered the final cut, calm, surgical. "He's moving out tomorrow." Her head snapped up. "What? You didn't think I'd go there?" I asked. "You didn't think I'd talk to him?" The truth hit her like a blow. I had gone to the condo. I had seen him, and I had made sure he knew she was done using him as a shadow. Both of her lives collapsed in a single night. She reached for me again. I let her hand fall short. She cried. I didn't. Tears require attachment, and whatever bound us had been withering long before tonight. Betrayal just stripped the last leaves from the branches. Mia left quietly, giving me one last look, half sorrow, half approval. My wife stayed on the couch, shaking, whispering apologies that no longer had an audience. I stepped toward the door, not to flee, to breathe, to feel the clean air of a life no longer poisoned by someone else's lies. When she finally managed to ask, "Where are you going?" her voice was small. "Forward," I said. Nothing more, nothing less. And as I closed the door behind me, I felt the last thread snap. It didn't hurt. It felt like release. The kind that comes when you stop trying to save something that died long before you admitted it. Tonight, she lost both lives, and I reclaimed mine. Final line, some truths don't set you free. They remind you you were never the one in chains.